Hi, guys, and welcome back to Too Much. I feel like I always give disclaimers when we start these episodes. And here's another one. I accidentally slept 3 hours last night. Just my little old brain couldn't shut the fuck up. And my heart was racing. Like there was just like a lot going on. I couldn't sleep. Went to sleep at 11:30. And then I was up from like 2 to 4:30. And then I woke up at 6:30. And then here we are. And I started getting, I think, vertigo when I started walking to the studio from the subway. Lots happening. I don't think I've had vertigo before, but the whole world felt tilted, and I can imagine that's what it's like. So, this is gonna be a wild ride. We're just gonna go down the rabbit hole together and figure it out as we go. Quick note also, I know I started to talk about this probably too soon, I think like a month or two ago. But I have, if you can't tell, turned off my video on Spotify. And this is because I'm going to start running ads. Applause, applause, applause. I started also learning this, which is really fun. I don't know. The kids are doing it. This is what I hear. It's a little clap. Anyways, told you it's going to be a little loopy of an episode. Yeah. So I'm going to start doing ads. They're obviously I don't know. I don't know when you're listening to this. I don't know if they've started running yet, but that is why the video had to go off. It's some situation with Spotify, and I have no idea. But that's the way the cookie's crumbling. So if you do want to watch this on video and you would like to see me struggle through this visually, go over to YouTube because that's where the video will live. Otherwise, it's Apple and Spotify, and I'm pretty sure Amazon. That's it. That's my spiel. Not going to do a catch up today because this is just, we're going to do what we can. This topic has been requested indirectly a lot. A lot of you write in and you're like, how can I meet guys? How can I meet people? Where's the best place to meet people? And truthfully, I think what this all boils down to is just making the first move. And in the past, in Q&As and everything, when I've gotten these questions of like, I'm in my 30s, I'm on the apps, I can't meet anyone, where can I meet people? I always say it doesn't matter where you are. It's all about your energy and how you handle the situation. So today, we are going to go down the rabbit hole about how to make the first move and approaching people and growing a pair, really, for guys and girls. Also, another highly requested thing has been a specific anecdote that I have told in the past that you guys have been dying for me to retell. And I've been trying to figure out a way to work it into a conversation. And this is the one. I'm not going to give a spoiler alert. It'll be coming like 3/4 of the way into the episode, maybe halfway through. But man, is it a fucking juicy story. It's pretty much when I peaked. Let's go down the rabbit hole, shall we? Why do we find it so hard to go up to people? Obviously, everyone has their reasons, their personal reasons, past rejection, whatever it may be, your own insecurities. But as humans, there are 3 reasons we are so afraid to approach people that we are interested in. Number 1, fear of rejection. We've talked about this before in the rejection is redirection episode. And this is essentially the fact that rejection lights up the same part of your brain that physical pain does. And that's why it hurts so much. And it doesn't feel like it's just in your head. And this also, as so many of these things do, dates back to the caveman days because of this fear of exclusion and fear of rejection, because back then it truly meant danger or death because of those saber-toothed tigers and other predators. I'm not going to try to name right now. So yeah, it's evolved over time into being terrified to going up to people. Number 2 is effective forecasting. Now this is based on studies that we actually predict the pain of rejection is going to be so much more painful than it actually is. In reality, we bounce back quite quickly, or we can. But our fear of this imagined pain keeps us from actually acting on what it is that we want. And lastly, we have cultural conditioning, which is the gender norms. For men, they are told they must be the ones to make the first move. And because of their innate masculinity, they want to resist rejection. And then that pressure creates anxiety, crippling anxiety, about performing the move and the approach perfectly. And that essentially results in paralysis by analysis. And then for women, we are often told that making the first move can make us seem desperate or too much. This just teaches passivity, even though we know exactly what we want. Then it just creates this double bind. Men fear being creepy, women fear being clingy. Both genders just end up stuck in this overthinking loop instead of just trying. And then everyone just ends up alone, and nobody wants that. So it comes down to just pushing through this barrier, all of those barriers. Whether you are a guy or a girl, man or a woman, whatever, the benefits far outweigh the cost and the risk. Confidence is universally attractive. It signals safety. It signals this person knows exactly what they want and they know exactly who they are. And everyone loves a person who knows who they are. Even if you're not sure if you're attracted to someone, if they have the confidence to approach you, it actually does create an attraction. It's like when people are like, oh, they're not objectively attractive, but they had such swag. He just came up to me and he had confidence. It's very attractive. Also, another benefit of pushing through this barrier is the reciprocity effect. I cannot believe I just said that word correctly. Wow. I'll be here all week. What does that mean? It means that people like people who like them. It's science. Making the first move gives the other person the green light to reciprocate, to move forward and make their move. Without it, they might just assume that you're not interested because of all that ambiguity, which sucks because then it's always like begging the issue of where their balls. But it's true. If you're confused about someone not liking you or being interested, or if there's a green light, then you might not approach. You might not act. We just got to the point in the Pilates class where they changed lights, guys. We're setting the mood now for approaching. Um, in case you noticed something different, unless you're listening and you didn't see the lights just changed, then please ignore me. And please don't stop listening to this podcast. Anyways, so when there is this ambiguity, it's an even bigger deterrent of approaching someone. This is why you kind of get into like the signals and the signs and all of that to put your green light on. Because if no one makes the first move and both of you want to, there goes the momentum. And not for nothing, but taking a risk on someone signals value of you and them. It says, I value myself enough to risk rejection, and I value you enough to express interest. What more reasons do you need to approach someone, guys? So many benefits here. So many benefits in just making that first move. Now, I know in past interviews, whether someone was interviewing me or I was just speaking on my podcast, I have expressed that I preferred when a man would come up to me. And I didn't like going up to guys. And, I don't want to be with someone that wouldn't come up to me. But I swear to God, one of the greatest weekends of my life, and one that went down in the history books of my college experience, happened because I went up to someone first. And this story is my Zac Efron story, one that so many of you have requested. And today I'm going to tell it. Picture it. It's 2012. It is the first day back, second semester, freshman year of college. I went to FIT. So if you don't know what FIT is, that is a fashion school in New York City. The girls that went to FIT were a very specific breed. We wore like 6-inch heels to class. We didn't have backpacks. We had purses, carried our books. We didn't have sororities or fraternities or Greek life at all. Instead, we had promoters, and we went out to the biggest and best New York City clubs 7 nights a week with promoters. Didn't pay for anything. That's just how it was. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. It was great. It was such a fun time. Anyways, first night back of second semester, I moved out of my first semester dorm and into a new dorm with this girl that I had made best friends with. and another girl that we loved. And then we got this third rando. We had like a little quad. We are literally all just like brunette, brown eyes, cute girls. It was the week of my 19th birthday. It was middle of January, so bit chilly out still. And actually, unlike typical FIT girl fashion, we wore coats that night. Crazy. Typically, we would go out in like mini skirts and brave the cold and all just huddle up until we got to the front door of a club. But this night, we wore coats. And this is important. So we go to one of our favorite clubs in Meatpacking District. We go downstairs, head over to the coat check. I had checked my coat first. So I walk over to the side and I'm waiting for my friends before we went over and joined the promoter at the table. And as I'm standing there, I'm looking over at the bar. I'm staring at this guy, and he's with a couple other guys, but I'm looking at him and I'm like, huh, that looks like Zac Efron. Next girl comes over to and joins me after she checks her coat. And I'm like, hey, I think that's Zac Efron. She's like, no, it's not. And I was like, no, I really think it is. My other friend comes over. I'm like, isn't that Zac Efron? And they're all like, no, it's not. But I'm like, I know in my gut. I know my Zac Efron. Mind you, I was a theater kid. So like, I straight up had a calendar of this man when he played Link in Hairspray, like the year prior, hanging in my room, just a whole calendar of him. I knew my Zac Efron. So we got our drinks. They're still kind of lingering by the bar. We're all standing in a circle, and I see them start to walk in our direction, not necessarily towards us, but in our direction. And I don't know what it was. I don't know what made me do this, but I just thought on my feet and I shoved my body in front of him and his friends and spilled my drink. I kind of look up and I'm like, oh my God, my drink. And one of the guys in the group looks at me and he's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And then he looks at me and he looks at my friend, notices that we're cute girls. And he's like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'd like to introduce you to my friend, Zach. Little 19-year-old me, again, trying to think on my feet, quick and witty. I'm like, pretend you don't know him. Pretend you are not his biggest fan. So I was like, what was that, Brian? And I put out my hand and he shook my hand and it was literally out of a movie. We were like shaking hands, staring into each other's eyes for what felt like 5 minutes, but it was probably like 30 seconds. But that's what it felt like for me in my little fantasy daydream. We all talk for like a minute. They walk away and went to their table and we were like, oh, that was cool. It's fine, whatever. Now, little context. I technically had a boyfriend, but you know, we were both freshmen in college. He was at West Virginia. I was at FIT. The longevity was not there. But anyways, I had a boyfriend. I just want to confess that. But when Zac Efron's in front of you, I mean, like, you talk to him. Anyways, moving on. So we're standing there at the table and I'm kind of like, oh, that was cool, whatever. And I went to the bathroom. I come back and one of my girlfriends go, oh my God, one of those guys just came up to the table and invited us to their table. And I was like, ladies, grab your bags. I go, we're going. So we all pick up our purses, just the four of us, grab our drinks, and we were led down this, like, I think like secret passageway for celebrities. Like that's kind of what I envision it being because it was weird. I'd never been down that hallway before and it connected directly to this table from the front of the club. So we go down the hallway, we get to his table, and he immediately grabs my hand and starts dancing with me. And I am like can't see straight. Just fully like, what the fuck is happening right now? Like, this can't be real. We're like front dancing together. I don't even know how to describe it. Like, we didn't grind, but like my arms are on his shoulders and we're just like dancing. And I'm kind of like panicking because I'm like, kind of have a boyfriend, but like also it's Zac Efron. What do I do right now? This went on for like 5 minutes and he was like being fun. Like, it wasn't like dirty dancing or anything. Then all of a sudden I look around and I can't find my friends. And I'm like, oh my God, where did they go? Where did they go? And I panicked, you know, literally 19 years old. And I was like, I gotta go find my friends. And I just took out my phone and I handed it to him, shoved it at him. And he took it and he called himself and it rang on his phone and we put our names in and he kissed me on the cheek and I walked away. And that was that. Went back to my table, found my friends. And I was like, guys, where did you go? What the hell? You left me. You scared me. Then they presented me with more good news. Apparently, we got invited to their rap party. Don't know what they were rapping. Don't know what that meant. 19 years old. But again, I was like, ladies, grab your coats. So We go over to the coat check, and 3 of the guys from their group are also at coat check. I start talking to them, and they're like, "Oh, yeah, like, we're going back to the party. It's just across the street. Can't wait. It's gonna be great. We just finished our movie." And I'm like, "Oh, like, what's your name?" He said, "Michael." It was Michael B. motherfucking Jordan, who I didn't know at the time. Never saw Friday Night Lights, but apparently he was in that prior to me meeting him that night. So he says his name's Michael. I'm like, "Hi, Michael. I'm Emma. Where's Zach?" Um, so whatever. So we grab our coats. There's another guy, but he's nameless at this point. We go across the street, and Zach wasn't with us, but I think they also had to like kind of usher him out a back door or something because like this is meat packing. This is like his prime. He was like 25. So we get to the apartment building. It is directly across the street from the club, so we felt safe. And the elevator just opened up to this massive full floor apartment. It is Zach, the guys from the club, including Michael, and then like 5 or 10 other people, let's say. I look at my friends and I'm like, "Guys, our mission, we are not leaving here until Zach leaves. I don't care what time it is. We are in it. We're going to become best friends with these people." Like that was where my mind was at. That was my goal. So mingling around the party, start talking to this guy platonically. I think he was interested in me, but I wasn't interested. Well, because I had a boyfriend, but I just wasn't interested. And he introduces himself and he said, "Hi, my name is Miles." What I didn't know then, and I know now, is that it was Miles Teller. So now in this room is Zac Efron, Michael B. Jordan, and Miles Teller. I was still just shitting my pants from the Zac Efron part of it. Like Miles and Michael were cool after the fact once I like realized who they were, and obviously now they're like the biggest actors in the world. So it's like a fun story to tell now, but then I had no idea who he was. I was like, "Oh, cool. Nice to meet you, Miles. What do you do?" He's like, "I'm an actor." And I was like, "Cool. Been in anything I know?" He said, "Project X." And I was like, "Never seen it. I'm so sorry." Also, I later found out that he had like a 30-second scene in that movie. So I don't even know why he said that. Again, theater kid should have said Footloose, Willard. I would have died. Anyways, the party at its max was probably like 20 people. Everyone's just like drinking, hanging out. It was fun. It was like a very adult party. So I find my way back to Zach, and I did the most cringe, embarrassing thing I've ever done in my entire life. We are talking, and he asks where I'm from, what I do, blah, blah, blah. All just getting to know me. And I was like, "Yeah, I actually, I used to do theater, and I did High School Musical in 7th grade, and I played Gabriella. And I still remember the dance." I said that to Troy Bolton. I said that to Zac Efron. And he, bless his heart, was like, "Wow, you'd make a really good Gabriella." And I was like, "Thank you so much." And then I proceeded to do the dance for him, improve it. Right in front of this guy, like just one on one, no one else is around. I'm like, "We're all in this together." I think I stopped at the twirl. I hope I stopped at the twirl. I blacked out basically. Secondhand embarrassment, blacked out after that point. But yeah, I did the High School Musical dance for Zac Efron at a party. That was my moment. Maybe him and I would have gotten married, but I did the High School Musical dance. Anyways, everything happens for a reason. Night goes on, and I am like having internal panic. Like I was definitely playing it off cool, but I went into the bathroom, and the bathroom was so massive that like people were just like hanging out in there, and like it was whatever. So I'm standing in the bathroom, and I called my best friend Nikki, and I am like, "Nikki, oh my God, what do I do? I'm with Zac Efron right now. I'm at this party. I'm freaking out." And she was like, "Holy shit, holy shit." And I was also like, "What do I do about my boyfriend?" Who, like, mind you, where we're at, I hadn't spoken to him in like 16 hours. Like, I also heard a rumor that he was cheating on me because my friend used to go to his college and she transferred. So her sorority sisters told her. So, like, him and I were not in a good place. Let's just be clear. So I was just like, not. I wasn't really thinking about him. So I kind of said to her, I was like, "Oh, what do I do?" And she was like, "Emma, it's Zac Efron." And I was like, "No, no, no, totally, you're right." So as I'm on the phone with her, all of a sudden, someone walks into the bathroom, and it's the producer of the movie that they just wrapped. And he's like, "Who are you on the phone with?" Because I think he thought that I was, like, calling the paparazzi or, like, calling TMZ or, like, some I don't know. Who the fuck? I don't know what he thought. Um, and I was like, my friend Nikki?" And he takes the phone from me, and I kinda was just like, "Oh my god," and he gets on the phone, and he's like, "Who is this?" And then 2 seconds later, guess who walks in? Zac Efron. So now it is just me, the producer, and Zac in the bathroom, and I'm, like, hyperventilating internally, totally played it cool on the outside. Then all of a sudden, Zac goes to the producer, "Who's on the phone?" And he goes, "Nikki," and goes like this, and Zac takes the phone and goes, "Minaj?" Just, like, cool as a cucumber, genuinely thought Nicki Minaj was on the phone. And my friend Nikki on the other end of the phone, I don't think she knew who took the phone or what happened, so she was just silent. She ended up hanging up. They ended up giving the phone back to me, and I was like, "I was just calling my friend. She doesn't even live here, like, no big deal." And they were like, "Okay, cool, whatever." They were nice about it. So that happened. So now the producer starts talking to me. Zach kinda goes off with some other girl. I think he was, like, making out with someone. I'm talking to the producer. He is fully, like, making passes at me, and I was like, "Whoa, I have a boyfriend. I would never cheat on my boyfriend. Get out of here." And he's like, "All right, like, we'll see about that." And I was like, "Ah, it's scary," but also like, "What do you mean?" So we ended up staying there until 6:30 in the morning, and it was, like, one of the greatest nights of my life. It was so much fun. Zach was a doll, so was Miles and Michael. I shared a joint with Michael. That was cool, and I'm pretty sure I asked to take a selfie with him, and he was like, "Absolutely not," and I was like, "Oh, okay, that's fine." Because, like, I knew my sister watched Friday Night Lights, and I just, like, wanted to show her, but whatever. Anyways, so we left at, like, 6:30 in the morning. I didn't talk to my boyfriend until 1 PM that day. He did not contact me, and when I did talk to him, I was like, "Where you been? You haven't talked to me." And he called me a bitch for feeling ignored and that he was MIA, which is a fair concern, I think. And so I, someone who's already on the fence and just spent the entire night hanging out with the top 3 celebrities in the world, said, "I think this relationship is over." And I dumped him right then and there. Nobody calls me a bitch in the same 24 hours that I hung out with Angel Baby Zac Efron. Sorry. So I was like upset for like a couple hours. I think I cried. But then all of a sudden, I got a text from the producer and he said, "Hey, do you want to come to the Knicks game with me tonight?" And I was like, "Yep, sure do." Wiped my tears, got dressed, was all excited. Then right before, about an hour before, he texts me and he says, "I am so sorry to do this. I have to like rerun a couple lines with Zach for something. I don't know." He was like, "So I can't go to the game. But do you and your friends want to come back over tonight?" And I said, "We sure fucking do." So he told me to bring like 4 or 5 friends. And he said, "It's just going to be me, Miles, Zach, Michael, and a couple other guys." And I was like, "Say less." So I rallied the girls. We went back over, and this time it was like a much more intimate gathering. There was literally 10 people, and we had the second best night of our lives. Like all of us just hanging out. And now at this point, I'm single. And I'm like, okay, ship has kind of sailed on Zach. I'm sensing some more longevity here with the producer. Obviously, Zach's like a huge star. I'm not gonna like put all my eggs in that basket. This guy's in front of me. He lives in New York. Let's go here. This seems like the more responsible route. Had Zach been pursuing me, obviously, I would have been whistling a different tune, but, you make lemonade out of lemons. So, we had a great night. Miles and Zach had a dance off. It was an outer body experience. We all went out, had a great night. It was like another 3 AM or something, and I never saw Zach again or Michael. But oddly, I actually did see Miles a few times after, and I, like, brought up the night, and he claims to have remembered it and remember me. I think he was just being kind. But the producer and I did see each other for, like, a couple more months, and, um, yeah, that's my Zac Efron story. So, moral of the story here, as you can imagine, going through that, having this wild weekend with my biggest celebrity crush ever was pretty much the exact opposite of rejection exposure therapy. In fact, It taught me right then and there what the actual reward for taking a risk could be. I know that was like a very long story, but I really wanted to tell it. And all of it was a catalyst of me kind of making the first move. I am absolutely one of those people who, when I was single, I always said, like I said before, I don't want to go up to guys. I want them to come up to me. But if I'm being honest, that wasn't something I stuck to 100% of the time. It was fully dependent on the vibe, the guy, where I was. Basically, what I'm saying is being the one to make the first move or not does not have to be a concrete stance. It's not a personality trait. I hear this question a lot. People are like, do you make the first move? How do you feel about it? And it's really not one size fits all. I think what says more about you is I do it when it feels worth it. I do it when I want to. It shows this sense of independence and confidence while still acknowledging that you yourself are the prize. Always waiting to be approached just means that there's missed opportunities. You're just abandoning yourself in the land of what if. I promise you, the regret of inaction is stronger and lasts longer than the regret of action. And I know gender norms make this hard on women, and I'd argue even harder for women than men. But this whole episode is not just about women initiating in isolation, but creating this shared dynamic where both sides feel empowered to initiate. There was a study by J.E. Brooks, done in 2008, that found when initiation feels balanced, meaning when both people step up, it actually leads to higher satisfaction and commitment in the relationship once there is a relationship. It's not just about who goes first, but it's about both people in the relationship having the agency to make the first move. So, how can we overcome the fear of making the first move? First things first, I want you to shift your mindset. You are not confessing your undying love for this person. You are simply starting a conversation. Keep the pressure off. This is not something that is monumental. You're just walking up to another human. And even before you go into it, before you approach someone, you need to detach the outcome from your own identity. Their response does not define your worth, it just defines the situation. If they aren't interested, it could be context, it could be timing, it could be they have a stomach ache, it could be their relationship status outside of the room. Maybe she's not there or he's not there. You have no idea what their life is like. So you cannot take it personally. You're shooting your shot. So when you're making the first move and you get rejected, you need to look at it as a gift because it's giving clarity to both people. If they're not interested, great. Now you know. Now there's no what if. Now you can move on to someone else, or you can leave, or you can just be in a place where it won't ruin your night or your mood. If you're afraid to approach someone or just make the first move, I need you to stop putting them on a pedestal. If you're putting someone up on a pedestal before you even know them, of course you're going to be intimidated by them. You're going to think that there's a place that you have to climb up to or reach. They are just people. They shit sitting down just like you do. So what is so scary about that? It's just another person. They're not a big, bad, scary monster. If you look at them as equals, you will not only be less afraid to go up to them, but you'll be even more comfortable when you're talking to them. And once you do approach, keep it simple. And then your opener could be compliment based, it could be curiosity based, or just observational. Hey, you have a great smile. Or what are you drinking? Or this playlist sucks. You could even do a little, I'd regret if I didn't say hi. It's flattering, casual, and direct. Now, this is very important. I need you to read the room. If you approach and you do your opener and they answer, but then look away immediately and don't look back and are not engaging with their body language and their eye contact and their conversation, just walk away. Don't try to get their number before you walk away. Don't push it. Read the room and then see yourself out if there's no reciprocation. It's either going to save you from further rejection, or after you leave, they'll say, where'd they go? And the door's been opened. The light has been turned on. And maybe they'll come approach you. This is a whole nother long story that I won't get into today, but I did this once in the south of France to some guy. I spotted him from across the room. I thought he was the hottest thing in the entire world. I don't know what came over me and made me do this, but I just walked up to him and I said, "Hi, my name is Emma." And he was like, "Dario." That was his name. And I was like, "Oh, it's so nice to meet you. Where are you from?" He told me. He asked where I was from. I said, "New York." He's like, "Oh, wow, it's amazing." I said, "Yeah. well, it was really nice meeting you. And I walked away. It was kind of like an intentional hi and bye. It was a little, what do they call those? Something with a dog. Not groundhogs. Prairie dog. Okay, we're going to coin that as the prairie dog. Oh, God. If anyone's seen Rat Race, there's a very different reference to prairie dog, and that's not this one. This one's a cute one. And this one's just a little like, boop, 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 hi. And then, you know what? He couldn't stop looking over at me after that because, like, I just was like, hi. And then no strings, no nothing, no pressure, no dragging on to the conversation. I just left. There is nothing worse than when you are standing there with someone, and I've done this myself a very long time ago, and I've seen people do it. It's like there's a lull in the conversation, and then you like keep asking more questions to keep getting them to talk. Like they don't want to talk. Like if you have to pull teeth to have a conversation with someone that you just met, like it's not worth it. There's no point. There's no stake in the game. There's no whatever. Just fucking walk away. Read the room, people. And then if you are still stuck in the mindset of, I prefer to be approached first, this is what I want you to do. Master the art of proximity. If there's anything that my Zac Efron story can teach you, it's that sometimes if you want someone to see you, it might be up to you to make yourself be seen. It's all about creating openings. It's not about you doing all the work. It's about giving them a nice runway so that they can meet you halfway. This can look like just walking by and giving a smile or saying hi. Or I've suggested this before, it can be sitting in a very approachable area. You know, if there's a table in the center of the room, or if there's seats at a bar where there's open seats around it, just be somewhere where you're in their line of sight. But don't make it weird. Don't like stalk them or something. But like you can casually just be seeable, seen, whatever. And then once you are there, your body language is everything. Also, this goes for guys too, really. But your body language is everything. If words feel scary to you, nonverbal signals can be just as powerful. Just focus on making space for the other person to step in. And to the point of body language, you know, don't be on your phone. Don't be hunched over and looking grouchy. Get the resting bitch face off your face. I've said this before and I will say it again. If you want to meet people, you have to look like it. And you have to act like it. What's the line in Annie? You're never fully dressed without a smile. Make sure you're smiling, but don't fake it. All of this said, if every tip I've given you feels terrifying to you and you're more of an introvert or you're afraid to do this just in general, start small. Start with some micro risks. I'm really into like putting micro before everything these days instead of saying small. Like I'm micro drinking right now if I'm just having like one glass of wine. Or I'm micro sleeping last night because I only got 3 hours. But yeah, take micro risks, which is like a way to build up your courage muscles and your courage skills. This is more of that exposure therapy. Just start smiling at strangers, complimenting random people, and you'll get better at it because you'll realize that the reciprocity effect, people like people who like them. So you're just automatically be liked if you are nice to people and you give small little compliments and make little advances here and there, but only when it's consensual, guys. That's all I'm going to say. Whatever. Ignore me. Anyways, whatever you do, even if you face rejection, just know that it is redirection. Like, oh, okay, Bob over there by the bar didn't like you. Great. Now you know. Now you can go focus on Chris on that side of the room that you also thought was cute. Or Sally and Peggy, whichever way you're going. If you're too scared to make the first move, you are already saying no to yourself. Next time you go out, I want you to remember, making the first move does not erase your value. It amplifies it. Even if you're getting rejected. You had the balls to do it in the first place. Good for you. I feel like I'm doing Baby Shark. But it's true because you are signaling confidence and the people that matter will respond to that energy. The people you want in your orbit will respond to that energy. One of my favorite quotes is you should never regret anything in life. The only thing that you should regret is the things that you didn't do when you had the chance. And that's everything, guys. Whether it is a relationship, a travel opportunity, going up to someone at a bar, a job opportunity, literally anything. You are just barring yourself from any opportunity if you don't go for it. It's like in Cinderella's story. You miss 100% of the shots that you never take. I think that's what it was. You strike out of the game 100% of the time you don't play. Something. Whatever. Anyways, I've got a little challenge for you guys this week. If you're single and you want to meet people, I want you to, at least with one person this week, be the one to make the first move. And then let me know how it goes in the comment section or in DMs, whatever, wherever you want. But the comment section on Spotify, Apple will be kind of fun. But worst case, they'll say no. Best case, you'll get exactly what you want. And that is all she wrote, guys. I wish I could say I'm going to go take a nap, but my body doesn't allow those either. So this has been fun. I hope these tips helped. I hope it has helped you build up the courage to go after whatever the fuck you want and embrace your muchness and just fucking put yourself out there because you have no idea what could happen. You can literally spend a weekend with Zac Efron. This is literally how to win a date with Todd Hamilton. Todd Hamilton. Fuck. Whatever. You know what I'm talking about. Crazy shit can happen when you go after what you want. That's all I gotta say. So like, subscribe, comment. You guys have been leaving a lot more comments in this comment section on, I'm pointing down if you're watching. It's like down there in the comment section on YouTube and on Spotify and Apple. And I love those. Those are great. And everyone can see them. And it really like helps people watch a specific episode. So if there's one that you like more, like you should write it in the comment section because then it's like signaling to other people that it's worthy of a watch or a listen. Anyways, that's all. That's my shameless plug. Yeah, again, a reminder, videos on YouTube. That's it. Love you guys. See you next week. Bye. I did it.